shoes for 5 years. Yes, one pair of shoes for 5 years. And I replaced that shoe with a pair from Shein. Before with the unboxing, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Sclater, and this is Your Journey Matters, where I talk to you about personal lessons in self-awareness, personal development, skills acquisition, and the likes. So if you love such topics, to consider subscribing. Don't forget to like the video, and let's get started. So what is it about self-awareness and shoe purchase? Well, um, from a very young age, I would say from my late teens into young adulthood, I discovered if there's one thing I have a weakness for, it's shoes. I love me a pair of good shoes. I love me a pair of good heels. I've always loved heels, sandals, but they should have heels. I don't know why. I think it grew from the complex of having a very tall woman. I always wanted to be as tall as she was. Okay? So, being a shoe lover, I've always invested in my shoes, but somewhere along the line, I started buying cheap shoes, and in my late 20s, I learned the hard way that for a good pair of shoes to last, you had to invest the money for it. And that was because I was by then married and traveling a lot with my missionary husband. And so I started saving up to buy better shoes, because every shoe I would buy, I would have to take to the shoemaker after a month to have them either sewn, repaired, soles changed, stuff like that. So to to summarize the first lesson, most accessories you have to invest in it. Like if you want a good lasting accessory, you need to invest in it. And then I moved to Ecuador and I learned the second lesson. There is a difference between quality shoes and expensive shoes. Most times, a shoes that is expensive may not really be made of high quality. I don't know if you've heard, there's been complaints about the Louis Vuitton red soles scraping off, and people complaining that they don't last, or the bottom of the heels fall off, and Louis Vuittons cost very much. But when I came to Ecuador with my few leather shoes, I lived in a house where we didn't have proper ventilation, and that was how a lot of my leather shoes started going bad because of the humidity. Hello, good morning, Sergio. How are you? Welcome. And then I decided if I was going to replace my shoes, I was going to buy something good quality but not expensive, so that even if they got spoiled, I wouldn't be losing too much money, right? So that was what I did. And I I couldn't shop for the next new pair of shoes because I had stayed in the country for about, I think 2020. I was 3 years in Ecuador, and then COVID came. So I still had some good pairs of shoes, but my black pair of shoe uh, was already going bad and I needed to replace it. So I decided to, thank you, wish you the same, Sergio. Que tengas un día feliz. I'm guessing you speak Spanish from your name. Igualmente, cuídese. So, as I was saying, during the COVID, there was a lockdown. I saved up, and then I bought my first pair of black shoes, which are these ones. You can see them. I don't want to show you the inside. They're old and worn. So, like I said, quality really matters, because, like I said, for the humidity, this is what happened to this pair of shoes. You see, it wore out. The heat gradually peeled off the interior, and this is I think satin is not leather. So trying to avoid a leather pair, I ended up with a textile fabric shoes which also lasted, but that was the damage, and that's the damage I'm talking about. So um, I didn't throw them out because I wanted to. I'm sorry, somebody's walking outside. I'm sorry for the noise outside there. So as I was saying, so that was the second lesson. So um, one thing or three things to consider when you're buying a good pair of shoes is, first of all, functionality. Are you going to be using it? How often will you be using it? For example, if you wear formal dresses every day, then maybe you need a good pair of heels to go with it. And then how comfortable are they going to be? I always choose comfort. The older I got, I've always prioritized comfort when I choose a style of shoes. So black is always a good neutral because it goes with everything, you know. So but over the times with fashion changes, you can use brown, um, or yeah, dark brown works. But for office purposes, I think for everyday purposes, for work, black will always be a staple. That is number one. Number two, like I said, is it something you can maintain? The maintenance is also something. It's not just about the purchase of it or the functionality, but is there a place in your house that you can use the shoes, that you can keep the shoes rather, where it doesn't get spoiled by the elements? So maybe somewhere away from light, because I know that the light spoils leather goods, and also humidity. You need the shoes aerated, so you have to have maybe a shoe corner that is aerated and away from sunlight so that those shoes can last. And then, like I said, functionality. What is the cost per wear? If it's not something you're going to use every day, there's no need to put too much money in a pair of shoes that you're not going to wear, you know. So I also considered cost per wear, which is why these have been my the very best purchases I've made in Ecuador, you know, when it comes to shoes. Because, like I said, I don't know if I said it, these have lasted me for 5 years. 5 good years. So this was a very good purchase. Now, when it comes to replacing my shoes, I'm also someone who is very, very specific when it comes to taste. I like something fancy, but I like something also durable. Thank you, Sergio. Blessings also, okay? Thank you. Have a wonderful day, my friend. And I thought I wanted leather, and I wanted a leather with something decorative. I didn't want just plain leather shoes. I wanted something made of leather or something close to 100% or genuine leather. I also wanted something with a decoration but comfortable, and I didn't want stilettos. So I went hunting, I think last year December, for a pair of shoes because I wanted to give to myself that for Christmas. But you will not believe it. Everywhere I went, it was either I didn't like the heels, or I didn't like the design, or I didn't like the leather that the shoe was made from. I'm very specific like that. So I didn't buy a pair of shoes. Then I thought of Shein. Now with Shein, I think in Spanish they call Shein because you read as it's pronounced. It's a very phonographic language. But with Shein, I was very, very particular, worried about the quality. So Shein is not a new product. They came on 2008, and from 2012, people started doing hauls on YouTube, and then it was famous for that. It started becoming popular, and post-COVID, when luxury fashion started going down, Shein and people like Vivo, other brands, those cheap high street fashion became more popular. So it started off as my name is Dorcas. It started off more like, you know, they were having those videos where we had dupe try on or dupes versus the real one. And that was how high street started coming into trends, started becoming popular. And at a point in time, we were no more pretending that we were looking to try out, because what most of these influencers would sell to us at the time was that, yeah, buy the cheap version from Shein, from Zara, or buy it from Revo Girl, Love It Girl, or something like that. And then if you like it, you can buy the luxurious version of it, which for me was kind of funny, you know. And through the years 2012, 2013, we started hearing horror stories about how Shein abused its workers, the sweatshops, you know, the resources of their material, and a lot of ethical questions around their production, basically. So there was that moral question: should we promote the brand? Should we not promote the brand? And all that. But by and large, at the end of the day, and I'm going to do a full video on that, Shein has come to stay. For me in Ecuador, it became the next option. I remember we couldn't order in Ecuador because of taxes and things, and now you have vendors who take orders and can shop for you online. So I got one of those ladies, and I bought certain things from Shein, which I can say the quality was fair, it was good. So when I didn't find a good pair of shoes last year, I decided to take a risk. I didn't know if the value would be. So I saw a nice pair of shoes on Shein, but the mistake I did was that I didn't check the material. I didn't look out for the material from which the shoe was made. So I guess I wasn't made to have how do you call it? I wasn't made to have leather shoes for now. So when you look at it in the picture, it doesn't really look like it's suede. So when I saw this, I just assumed it was leather. Unfortunately, when it came, it wasn't leather. It's another fabric. So it's a suede shoes. But the risk that I was afraid of was the sizing. I didn't know if it would fit or not. And so the shoes arrived on Saturday, and yeah, I finally got them because oh, you're in Australia. Wow, that's a long miles away from here. So I finally collected them yesterday from the vendor, and I was fortunate because apparently you have to go a size higher with Shein shoes, especially for people like me. So I was suspecting that, and I had gone a size 40. My normal size is 39, so when I ordered it, I ordered a size 40, and she went for a size 41, right? So she went for a size 41, and it fits perfectly. So this is 2 sizes up from my normal size. So I like them. I like pointed shoes. I love the decoration on the top, and more than anything, I like the heel. I'm not a stiletto baby, but this is a little bit, if you can see, is a bit wider at the back, and it comes down straight, and it's right, so it gives me good support. I tried it. So these are my very first pair from Shein, and it's suede. It's made from suede fabric. What I'm not sure is how long they're gonna last for the price, okay? So I'm not sure how long these are gonna last, but these are my very first pair from Shein. Overall, I think if you like something, just buy it if you can afford it. I don't believe in going out of the way to buy something and remain in debt. Like, it doesn't make sense. Buy something, and sleep easy. That's all. So that's that's my first pair of shoes from Shein, and I hope I'll be able to come back maybe after a month or two and let you guys know. And they don't smell bad. Many people talk about the smell on YouTube that their shoes, they doesn't smell that bad. It's okay. Thank you. So that is all for today. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Thank you, Sergio, for being here. Have a wonderful week, my friend. Goodbye. I'm stopping here, okay? Thanks. Yeah, Shein has shoes for boys. They do. Bye.